how significant is Egypt's coordination with France in mobilizing humanitarian aid through El Arish to alleviate Gaza's escalating catastrophe, especially in light of the common vision between Egypt and France in Gaza?
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, we know that logistically and historically and geopolitically, Egypt is the closest country to Gaza with joint borders, the only joint borders actually with the outer world. And it was Egypt's magnificent efforts trying to get as much as of the humanitarian aid inside the Strip since the beginning of the war. Now, the French president, with going to Arish, we're speaking about 50 kilometers from the Gazan borders. He will see himself the situation. He will inspect the Mistral, the naval French hospital in the Mediterranean across the Arish coast. He will also see the French medical force in Arish, which is trying to help with the injuries, the injured Palestinians coming to Egypt, and all those who are in a dire situation medically and in a dire human need for help.
So in light of what you're saying, Dr. Amany, how does Macron's upcoming visit to El Arish actually underscores the Egyptian critical humanitarian and logistical contributions to addressing Gaza's suffering?
Well, actually, France has sent more than 1 ton of aid, medical supplies, and food, and tents to Egypt, to Arish, in order to get them into Gaza, while the Israelis doesn't allow any kind of humanitarian aid to enter the Strip. So the coming of the French president himself to this spot can tell the world that it's not Egypt that is, as the Israeli claims, it's not Egypt that is not getting the humanitarian aid inside Israel. It's the Israelis backed by the American who are just surrounding the Palestinian and besieging them with more and more constraints not to get the humanitarian aid in. A political figure with the weight of Emmanuel Macron can tell the world what's happening there, and he's not taking sides. It's not like he's an Arab like us. He will just go there and say the humanitarian aid is there and the Israelis are keeping them out from the Gazan people.
And he's also a representative of the European vision regarding what's going on in Gaza.
Of course, now after the Brexit and after the absence of Angela Merkel, France is 100% leading the EU, and he can tell the Europeans where their money, their donations, and their financial and humanitarian support to Gaza is going. It's stuck there in Arish, and they cannot enter the Strip.
Indeed. Dr. Osman, how could Egypt-France collaboration foster long-term stability and peace in the Middle East, in your own opinion?
Of course, France and Egypt have coordinated not only on the subject of the conflict in Gaza, but also in recent history and even in very recent events. They have coordinated thoroughly on many files, including the situation in Libya, the situation in Syria, situation in Sudan, and in all of these hotspots in the region, the Egyptian and French positions have always been quite harmonious, and they rhymed and aligned together in many respects. And I think it's very important for France to have Egypt as a determinant of stability, a proponent of stability and peace in the region, given that Egypt, just as President Macron said just a few minutes ago during the business forum in Cairo University, along with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he said that Egypt is a geopolitical, military, and demographic power. And I think that this is a very accurate classification of Egypt as a state and a regional power in the Middle East. As such a country with force that supports stability in the region, in contrast to other countries like Israel and Iran, for example, which have been there stabilizing agents in the region. So I think France is very interested in that, and not because France is good and that France is wearing the robes, the saintly robes of good, but no, because France has an integral interest in the stability of the Middle East, because any instability in the Middle East or chaos in the Middle East eventually spills over into Europe, which is already economically strained and is suffering crisis and economic crisis that will only be compounded by any further instability in the Middle East.